Today on Eagle Nation News, Haley Brown investigates an ongoing epidemic that is now targeting Prosper.
CNA instructor Mrs. Channing expands on how the effects of the disease outbreak.
And finally, Julia Bizayon sits down, a student at PHS affected by Tourette's.
Eagle Nation News starts
right now. Good afternoon, Prosper High School. Today is Wednesday, March 20th. I'm Christina Folsom.
And I'm Cameron Silva.
So there has been recent talk about Disney purchasing Fox, and Disney finalized its purchase of any Fox Entertainment assets. The deal is worth $71 billion, and Disney CEO Bob Iger believes this will allow their company to reach new heights and change the industry.
Former student Jay Bias was robbed and shot during spring break while in Miami, along with a fellow A&M member. Fortunately, it has been announced that both men are clinically stable and are recovering in South Florida.
The outbreak of a rare epidemic has recently struck Texas and is now affecting our local area.
Haley Brown uncovers what this means for our community.
Ever since the first Kroger made its way to Prosper, the shopping center has become not only the go-to grocery store for our parents, but a place to stop after school for Starbucks or to study with friends. However, with the recent controversies surrounding medical vaccinations, the second reported case of measles has hit Prosper and is even closer than you might think. The second reported case of measles has not only been reported in Collin County, but in Prosper specifically. The patient was reported to be at Kroger off Preston Road from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Friday, leaving some Prosper residents at risk. Health officials have advised Prosper residents that were in the area at the time to monitor their health for the next 3 weeks. Measles is a highly contagious disease accompanied by a rash, watery eyes, runny nose, a sore throat, fever, and coughing. These symptoms typically don't show up until 10 to 14 days after exposure, and is typically spread through skin-to-skin contact or touching a contaminated surface. Now, if you weren't at the Prosper Kroger off Preston between those times, you're not in any immediate danger, but be sure you're taking the necessary precautions to avoid the highly contagious disease. Now, back to you guys in the studio with some more information about measles.
So we are here with CNA instructor Mrs. Channing. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Welcome.
So Haley just got done telling us about how recently somebody at Kroger was infected with the measles virus. Can you tell us how rare it is that somebody is infected or how common it is?
In this country, since most kids are given the MMR vaccine, 2 doses, you don't see it as much, but people are not vaccinating as much, as well as people coming from other countries. And so it's becoming more common, unfortunately.
So let's say I go into Starbucks tomorrow and someone in there actually has measles and I come in contact with it. How could that potentially affect me?
Well, if you've had the vaccine and you're up to date, then 97% chance you won't get it. But unfortunately, it is airborne, so it can stay on surfaces and in the air for 2 hours after they're there.
So usually how severe are the effects of measles?
Well, I mean, it can be fatal, but it can cause a high fever, ear infection, rash, and the symptoms are not fun, and they can get very sick with it.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming
Welcome.
in.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up, and Kathleen Johnson investigates how one class is creating bonds between students unlike others. Stay tuned.
Wait, don't leave your trash on the tables. Yes, the custodians are here to clean the school, but they are not here to pick up after you. So please, throw away your trash.
Tourette syndrome is a disorder which is usually characterized by rapid, involuntarily muscle movement called tics.
Julia Bizayon covers a student here at Prosper High School that experiences this every day. Take a look.
Many people are quick to judge when they see behavior that is different from what they consider normal. Reeves Lowe battles this challenge every day.
I went to school and they asked what I was doing. Usually I'm like, I have no idea. I had no explanation for it.
For years, it remained a mystery as to why Reeves would do these things.
My mom's a therapist, so she knew I had some sort of tic disorder.
It wasn't until Reeves was 12 years old that he was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome.
Tourette syndrome is a neurological body movement which can be physical or vocal.
I mean, it was kind of weird, but it explained a lot of stuff because like he was already having tics and stuff. So it was kind of relieving because we knew how to help him.
Tourette's affects people all around the world, but most cases go unreported due to the lack of knowledge about the syndrome.
Basically, people who come in will just do clinical interview, and based on observation and what they're reporting, we would normally diagnose them with the syndrome.
Not everyone quite understands the steps necessary to combat the tendencies of Tourette's syndrome.
You can't control it. It's kind of like when you need to sneeze. When you're like partially through and you're about to sneeze, you can't stop it. That's the feeling that builds up in your chest. But now that I know, I can tell them I have Tourette's and look it up and show them exactly what it is. But before, it really messed with me and it like bothered me.
Just don't like judge them immediately and, you know, remember that it might not be in their control.
Something that you can't control. It's like telling someone not to breathe and making fun of them because of that. It just makes no sense. And I just want people to be aware of that because it's just such a teased topic everywhere you go.
Reporting for Eagle Nation News, I'm Julia Bizion. Prosper.
I am Taylor Wolf. Now I finally am able to use my freedoms to show who I am. I hereby agree to be bound to you, to let you decide how I spend my money. With this contract, I relinquish part of my freedom to you.
Well, that is all the time we have for today for Eagle Nation News. I'm Cameron Silva.
And I'm Christina Folsom. Live long and prosper.